Hello friends, we're here today in Revelation chapter 6. So when we come to Revelation chapter 6, this is the first time that we have to make a decision as to how we are going to interpret this book. Now there are two major views. There's something called the preterist view and that of the futurist view. Now you might be asking, Andy, we're walking with you here, what is your view? And I would say that I don't know. However, I was taught as a futurist. And when I look at it, I still see it as a futurist. That's how I read it. And I want you to know that, there are preterists out there and there are futurists out there, and they are all great Christians. Your view on this does not change your salvation. So, as I'm going through this, I'll try and show both views, but just know that I lean futurist. This chapter can even divide the futurists, because some futurists believe that the Great Tribulation starts in chapter 11, and some believe that it starts here. So what happens here is the Lamb, Jesus, opens the first seal. You'll remember from the last chapter, John was crying because he said, nobody's worthy of opening the seal. And then a great angel said, stop crying. The Lion of Judah, he is worthy of opening the seals. And then it showed the slain Lamb, who was also the Lion of Judah, and he comes. And so the Lamb is here, and it opens up the first seal. And you have a man on a white horse. Now, we don't know exactly what to do with this man on the white horse. Pretty much everybody believes that he is a symbol of the person who is leading this, the tribulation that is happening here. He's either a military leader. Some people believe that it's Jesus, but most people do not. So this man comes out and he has a bow, and he is the conqueror. And he comes out on a white horse. Now, if you've ever heard of the term, the four horsemen of the apocalypse, this is them. So the first horse is a white horse. The second horse is a red horse. And the horseman is in charge of death, civil unrest. He takes away the peace from the world. And when every horse comes, there's a person, not a person, but one of the living creatures. There was the one with the face like a man, and the one like an eagle in flight, and there was one that looked like a lion and one that looked like an ox. And all of these creatures, every single time he opens up one of the seals, one of these creatures says, "Come." And then one of the horsemen will come. So the second one, like we said, is the red horse, symbolizing war and bloodshed. The next horse is black. Now you might think, oh, the black one, that must be some sort of death. However, it's not. The black horse has always been a sign of famine. It's a sign of sickness and hunger and famine. Now it says in this, when this horse comes out, that he has scales in his hands. When I read this at first, I thought that I was talking about like scales, like some sort of amphibian, some sort of reptile. I was like, ooh, he's got scaly hands. That's not what it's saying. It's saying that he has a scale, as in something to weigh, and he's saying, so much for barley, so much for grain. And really what it's saying here is a denarius. He's saying one denarius for this much. And really what it's saying is that you can work all day and you're not going to have enough money to buy the food that you need. And so that's why he has the scale out. The next seal comes open, and it is the last horseman, and it's a pale horse. And this one is the horse of death. And right behind it is Hades. So he's saying, this is symbolizing people dying and not being with the Lord. However, he opens up the next seal, and it shows all the people that were slain for the word of God. These what we would consider to be the martyrs, people that have died for their faith. And they're saying, how much longer, Lord? How much longer until we're going to be avenged? How much longer are we going to have to stay here? And he says, sleep a little longer, and he gives them white robes as a symbol of their purity and of their righteousness. So the Lamb opens up the sixth seal. And from the sixth seal, there is an earthquake, a horrible earthquake, something that shakes the whole world. And the people are so afraid that they're hiding in the cliffs because of things that are happening. The natural things that are happening on the earth are just so horrible that they just can't stand it anymore. So there's the futurist view tends to say that this is what happens during the Great Tribulation. And if you believe in a pre-tribulation rapture, you would believe that the Christians will not go through this, that they will be brought up before this happens. The churches that have been addressed in the earlier chapters, there in Turkey, they did experience great earthquakes, and they did have famines, and they did have political unrest. And there were all sorts of things that this could be pointing to. I don't know too much about the history, so I can't speak to it. But either way is possible. No matter what your view is, these things that happen, the tribulations that we go through, maybe in the future, or maybe now, these can all be used to help us turn to God. If you're going through a tribulation, even if the church has been raptured, if you're watching this and the church has been raptured and you're going through many things, know that you can still turn to God. Something that we can all get from this chapter is the fact that God is in control. Through tribulations, through good times, through all of this. These are things that God is letting happen. This is the way that God is cleansing the earth, and it's also the way that God is having people come back to Him. In times of difficulty, that's the time that you need to come to God. You need to ask Him for help. So anyways, that is Revelation chapter 6. Have a great day. Bye.